Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. It's great to be chatting with you today. Looking forward to finishing our week strong with a Friday review. Love being able to go over what's been happening this past week in the practice. So much of the news that I can't wait to bring you in the natural health-based field. One of my favorite, if not, I shouldn't say one of my favorite, my new favorite air filter for the home. All the controversy over your dental floss. If you haven't heard about this, you have to check it out. And then I'm going to be going over essentially just what's been going on in the practice interviews I've been on, a new ultimate deep sleep protocol. So looking forward, like I said, as always, to being able to wrap the week up strong. So the first thing I want to share right now is we welcomed in 100 new integrative health practitioners. So almost every month, probably about every month to 2 months, we love being able to open the doors from the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute and allow in new members that are looking to either complete the course, which is but if you don't want to go the certification route and become a health coach, a certified health coach, you can actually get the information for yourself in order to learn how to heal your own body from a much deeper level. So basically it takes the Rain Barrel Effect, my book, and it turns it into a 40-hour course. And it's me going through it with videos and seminars. It's a lot of fun. And we give you 50 different handouts. And if you're looking to become certified, you can use these in your own practice. So it's 10 modules. We have an amazing community. And just, again, love welcoming these people in, many of whom will go on to become level 2 certified as well and be able to review and recommend a lot of the functional medicine labs that we use all over the world. And the reason why I want to do this as well, kind of selfishly, is that I want to be able to call on more practitioners so that I can refer out all of the people we're getting in our practice. Right now, and I'm telling you, we started this 2 years ago, and it's been growing ever since. Without a doubt, this has to be now the largest functional medicine practice in the world. Super proud of that, not because there's any accolades or that means anything at all, but simply the level and the amount of people we're able to help now over just using Skype virtually is, I think, just incredible. So happy every day to be able to do this work, and thank you for all of your support. Well, one thing that I want to, and we do this again for our podcast listeners, for our community, we always let you know about it first. And essentially what we did was we put together something that we use with our private wellness clients for you. And so we have something called the Deep Sleep Protocol. I'm going to link up a podcast that I want you to understand, that I want you to listen to. That's the 3 reasons, essentially, why people can't sleep. And I go through it on that podcast, meaning figuring out why you can't sleep is not really a mystery. It's one of 3 mysteries. So that's what we look at. And our Deep Sleep Protocol is made up of 3 products that help on all of those different levels, whether it be nervous system based, and I won't get too deep into it now, hormonal based, as well as the body's ability to produce certain neurotransmitters. So I would love you to check out that show. Everything today, all the show notes, all the links, everything you could look for is at stephencabral.com/1126. That's stephencabral.com/1126. I'll put it all in there. But what we've done is that we found a lot of people in our practice that really have a difficult time unwinding at night, difficult time sleeping, kind of calming that nervous system. What we've done is we're using the Deep Sleep Protocol, the same 3 products. Now, typically, we're just using that for a month or so. That's it, maybe 2 months. But what we use in our private wellness practice for at least typically 12 weeks to 16 weeks is we're doing 2 capsules of Adrenal Soothe at dinner and 2 capsules of full spectrum magnesium at dinner. Now, that allows for the decrease of the sympathetic nervous system. So we switch into that parasympathetic nervous system, and we allow the natural-based products in the Adrenal Soothe, the Ayurvedic herbs, such as phosphatidylcholine, which is an extract. We use ashwagandha. We use these things to calm the central nervous system, the HPA axis. And again, you don't have to know how all of this works, but it basically shuts down cortisol. So at the end of the day, you want your cortisol super low so that you can naturally produce melatonin on your own. So this is a non-groggy formula, the whole deep sleep protocol, and we're adding in the adrenal soothe, and we're adding in the full spectrum magnesium. So this is now called the ultimate deep sleep protocol, which it is. Now that we're adding all of these together, the nice thing is that you're not going to have to use it forever. You're going to have to use it until you get yourself into that great healthy lifestyle, getting to bed earlier, setting up a sleep cycle, reducing stress through all the de-stress-based methods, and you're going to get yourself back healthy again. But I tell people right now, if you're not sleeping well, if you're waking up throughout the night, or it takes you an hour or 2 hours, used to take me 4 hours to fall asleep at night. If you can't sleep, it's really challenging in order to be able to heal that body. So what I want you to do is simply get your sleep. We're going to use natural herbs, natural products to get you there, and then we're going to be able to slowly wean off one capsule or half the dosage at a time to make sure that you stay asleep. So an easy way to do it, a very natural way to do it, and I'm excited that we can now offer this to everyone. Head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com over the next day or two to check that out. That's the Ultimate Deep Sleep Protocol. We'll link up to it in the show notes at stephencabral.com/1127. So head on over to stephencabral.com/1127. Okay, I did an interview. It's coming out this week with Real Food with Dana. We had a great conversation. It was a fun interview. Love being able to talk with all these amazing people in the health industry doing great things for our world. Remember, it's not about my voice. It's not about another person or podcaster's voice or video, whatever it is. It's about all of us and all of our voices eventually getting loud enough, and I have a pretty loud voice, but eventually getting loud enough to overshadow all of the crazy media and just horrible companies and products out there that are putting profits above people. I have nothing wrong with people trying to make a great living and make a profit. That's great. You need to do that. Everybody needs to make a living. But never put that profit above people. People have to come first. That's it. And we know that, like in any of the companies that I run or oversee or formulate for, they're like, hey, can we use this product? And I'm saying, no. Can we use this? No. Like, I understand that sometimes there has to be a compromise to get it made, but never to the detriment of someone's health. That makes no sense. We can't do that. So it's always people above profits. And we had a nice talk, Dana and I, about toxicity, media myths, plant-based eating, whole food nutrition. So what I'm going to do is link that show up today at the show notes as well. You'll be able to check that out with the podcast for the why you might not be able to sleep right now. And even if you can sleep, share it with your partner, your spouse, significant others, other people at work that might not be able to get the healthy and great night's sleep that they need. Remember, if you don't fall asleep within 20 minutes of your head hitting that pillow, ideally 10, then you have some form, at least a lighter form of insomnia. Now, if you wake up multiple times throughout the night, then we have another form of poor sleep patterns. That's basically what it is. So check that out. I'd love you to find your answers. And I'm going to go over this first. I was going to do it near the end, but I'm going to go over it now. So I've had a certain air filter, and I don't want to talk negatively about it. So I'll link up previous shows on air filters. Okay, I'll do that for you. Previous shows on air filters. But I just made the switch. Okay, it took me a while. I've had an air filter from way back in the day. I was one of those people before it was cool to have an air filter because why? I had such bad allergies. Anybody that has allergies or asthma, you were told essentially 20 years ago you should have an air filter. And this is like way before the craze, right? So I had this HEPA air filter way back in 2000. And honestly, it did help. But trust me, the technology in 19 years is night and day. So now I was using another product, and again, I'm not going to name the name. It's still a great air filter. It's an amazing air filter. But I said, you know what? This one's top of the line. I want to use this. I'm in the city in Boston. I'm in a condo building, which means I have a condo, essentially a floor, and everyone above and below me have their own thing going on. So I can't control all of the different gases and chemicals and other things, the pollutants that are out there that I can't see. I can control what's inside of my four walls, but I can't control all the EMFs and all the other stuff. Now, an air filter is not going to filter out the EMFs, but it will filter out a lot of those invisible gases. So I went with what's called the IQ Air. And the one I chose is actually, so it's like the middle of the road. It's called the Health Pro Plus. Now, I chose this one over the Health Pro and the Health Pro Compact. The reason why I did that, yes, it's a little larger, but here's why. It is able to filter a wider space, a larger space. And I'm not saying my condo is enormous that I need this air filter, but here's what it does. Is the Health Pro Plus removes the chemicals, VOCs, and gases that you can't see. Now, all of them will remove the pet dander, the allergens, the pollen, the dust, all of the common. They'll all do that. Okay. Now, keep in mind, before I say this, why did I choose this? Literally top of the line. You cannot get a better home air filter than this. It's rated number 1, Swiss made, and I believe they partnered with, or the American Lung Association chose them as their partner. They even have a model called the Clean Room IQ Air. This means that it can actually be used to create a clean room like in a hospital. So it kills microbes, 100% of microbes in the room. Would you need that? Most people won't, but I'm just showing you the level to which this is made. It is so strong that that's what it can do. So meaning like you might not need that, but some people do. What if you have an immunocompromised state? This could be a great product for you. What if you're going through chemotherapy, or what if you're going through something that's knocking down your own innate natural-based immune system? It might be worth it. Again, is there a cost to all of these? Of course. This is something that you'll have for decades, like at least a decade, I would say. Here's why. They'll upgrade the models for sure, but even their filters, I want to get to the filters right now. Their filters even last 2 to 4 years. So you're not, the one that I had, a great model, but you're switching out the filter every 6 months. So that adds up. Here's the difference, though. There's nothing like this. It is a larger filter, probably twice the size of most other air filters. We tuck ours away in the corner during the day, and then we have it run all night. There's actually a timer on it. You can use a remote control, and there's 6 different levels. The level 1, 2, and 3, barely audible. Level 1, we keep running all day long. And then if no one's home, we'll actually just pull it out and we'll ramp that up to level 6 and we'll just let that clean the house. Now, is it a little louder at that point? Of course. Is it the loudness of a vacuum? No. It's, you can just hear basically a fan blowing. That's what it is. Then you do that when you leave the house and you can actually set a timer so that it does that. But why does this work so much better? And this is what I wanted to bring you because I always wanted to bring you the research behind it. It has 3 filters. I don't know any other air filter that has literally 3 enormous air filters in it. So the first filter does this. It's called a particle pre-filter. It's a microparticle pre-filter, which means it grabs a lot of the particles before it ever makes it to the second part, which is the HEPA filter. And it's a patented HEPA filter, which extracts essentially 100% of the dust, the pet, the dander, the smoke that it filters in, and has a large fan that's sucking all of the air in. Now, why is this better than a regular HEPA filter? Well, it focuses down to 3,000th of a micron. Basically, it's 100 times smaller than a dust particle, pet dander, or even smoke. That means that if it can handle that, well, it's 100 times smaller it can handle. So it's able to go after things which I wanted, like mold. And I wanted the chemicals. And I wanted, people, again, in condo buildings, they're painting, and there's VOCs and those chemicals, the smells that you smell. I wanted all of that filtered out. I really did. I want to be able to open my windows sometimes and not have to worry about all of the car smog and exhaust and all of that. The HEPA filter, or I should say that all 3 of the filters will help with that. And the VOCs, the chemical odors, and a lot of the pollution are filtered through it's a little over 20 pounds of granulated charcoal. That it is an enormous charcoal filter. Now, you don't have to worry about the weight of it because it's actually on rollers and you can just move this thing like my daughters can push the filter around the house. So it's not a big deal. It comes on 4 wheels, the little caster wheels that you can move around anywhere. And it's all white. It's a beautiful white filter. Again, we tuck it away in the corner. When it's just rolls on one, it just is set on one. And then we pull it out and we just kind of blast it through the house. We actually moved it in my daughter's room. We put it in our room so we can do it in the different rooms. Maybe one day I'll have one for each room. But really, that's overkill. I don't think that you need it for every single room, especially if you filtered those out. Let's say every couple days, you just kind of move it through each room. That's great. And again, I have a dog. I love my dog, but he brings in a lot of stuff as well. So we want to use that. And the last part that I want to say that I really liked is that it's triple sealed. Now, triple sealed, maybe it means like silicone and maybe it means glue. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying by triple sealed. But why that was important to me is that it's not flimsy and that everything that it traps is not going to be blown back into the air. So a lot of filters are notorious as they start to get bogged down with chemicals and everything they're pulling out of the air that they can blow it back into the air, and I certainly do not want that. So I mainly got it for mold. My house was unfortunately got flooding from my upstairs neighbor, and we had mold, and we had to have that removed. I did a mold test. My wife did a mold test. We both had mold, unfortunately, so I'm going through my own mold protocol as well. If you don't know anything about mold protocols, I would simply go to stevencabral.com/podcast and then just type in mold or mold protocol. What I'll try to do, why don't I do this? I'll try to find my podcast on the effects of mold, and then, of course, you can look into the mold protocol. All right, so again, I've used it now for almost a month. I'm absolutely convinced it's the best air filter in the market. I wouldn't bring it to you if I didn't think that it was. Now, is it the only one for you? No, and I know it's also probably one of the most expensive. I look at it as this is a part of who I am. It's been like, this is what I do, obviously, with my life, for my life. I make, work, life, it's all mixed together for me. It's integrative. It's what I love doing. And for me, I don't spend money crazily. This is an investment that I thought was worthwhile. If you feel, well, what I would do is this. Just head on over. I'll link it up today, and I'll link up to some videos as well. Just head on over to stevencabral.com/1127. If you're someone that's dealing with asthma or multiple chemical sensitivities, sensitivity to odors, chemicals, smoke, you have construction going on, painting, you have a weakened immune system, issues with allergies, like I said, or mold, it might be worth checking out. All right. So that is my review, my thorough review of the IQ Air. And in the future, I will talk about their car air filter that they have. I'll be doing a review on that in the future. Okay. Up next, we have the controversy. I don't know if you heard this, the controversy over Oral-B and their Glide Floss. Now, I don't want to pick on Oral-B. I don't like taking down or making fun of companies or anything like that. So I don't want to do that. But I do needed to bring it to your attention because it's one of the most popular ones out there. Well, here's the issue. Inside of the Oral-B Glide Floss, they found something called PFAs. And what PFAs are and stand for are essentially a chemical that is synonymous with Teflon, like non-stick cookware. And many of us probably have heard of that before, but that's what it's akin to. And we already know from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention and the Environmental Protection Agencies that PFAS, and I'll link that up for you as well, which stands for polyfluoroalkyl substances, have already been identified for decades. It's on the Mayo Clinic's list for top things that can cause cancer. These non-stick, this Teflon, get it out of your house. Make sure your family's not using it because it's been shown to cause infertility. It's been shown to cause certain types of cancer, testicular-based issues. Certainly not something that we want to be putting in our bodies. And believe it or not, when we are flossing, it's going, and especially if we get a little cut on the gums, it's going directly into that bloodstream. This isn't something that we can really have. It can cause behavioral issues and growth problems in children. I talked about the fertility-based issues, and it can even be linked to cancer as well. So super important that we look at this. Ulcerative colitis and kidney issues were two other things that I wanted to bring up to you. Okay, so again, my goal is not to say this is a bad company, anything like that. For the most part, probably not a lot of them knew what was in it. But the truth is, it's now up to them to fix the product. And if they fix the product, well, then I'll promote them, okay? Like, that's the thing. I don't have anything about like taking down a company. That's not it. But right now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to promote the companies that are doing non-toxic dental floss. So I want to give you those right now. Super simple, super easy. Try out a few because the ones that are non-toxic, well, they seem to break down a little bit easier, meaning like they kind of like splinter. You know what I'm talking about? When you use dental floss, it kind of falls apart a little bit. Well, some are better than others, and I want you to try the one that's best for you. I've tried all of these, and I can tell you they're all pretty good. So Desert Essence makes a tea tree floss that's naturally waxed, no petroleum-based solvents or synthetic products in there. Eco Dent is a vegan waxed floss. Comes in a cardboard box, so not even getting the plastic there. That might be one that you like. Another one called Real Silk Floss. It's fully biodegradable. It's made by Radius. This one has a tendency to break down a little bit more, but of course it's biodegradable, right? So that's why it literally is much safer for the environment. And then we have Radius makes another one as well with xylitol in it, which xylitol is not bad as long as you're not swallowing it. So I don't have an issue with xylitol unless, of course, someone has a birch-based allergy. But for putting it in a toothpaste or maybe even a natural mouthwash and floss, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want people swallowing xylitol. I'm just not a huge fan of sugar alcohols in general. Okay, and the last one that, and I've been doing my research on them, and so far I have not found anything toxic in them, is Cocoa Floss. C-O-C-O Floss. And they have a couple different flavors, and they use a natural fruit or plant-based oil for their flavor. So like their mint flavor comes from spearmint oil, and they use the natural wax substance, beeswax, as well. So I'm going to link those up today. We've got a bunch. We've got the Desert Essence. We've got EcoDent. We have Silk Floss by Radius. And then we have Cocoa Floss. So those four give you plenty of alternatives. Try them out. Let me know which one you like best for you. And for our lab review of the week, never to be left out, what I wanted to do was staying on the topic of toxicity. I wanted to bring you a lab that we talk about probably not enough, and that is the toxicity test. It is a very straightforward lab. You literally, upon waking, just take a first morning urine sample. You can use it with children. You can use it with adults. And what it looks at is a whole host of chemicals, toxins in the body that are synthetic, that should not be there. Literally, they come from plastics and resins and parabens and phthalates, all sorts of chemicals that we know can cause birth defects, they can cause cancer, they can cause learning disabilities in children. One of them that I want to talk about today, since we're on the topic of chemicals, and again, I'll link up this test. It's a simple urine-based test. And again, you know that all the labs we do are all third party. We don't have any of our own labs. We send all of our labs out to a third party. I read the labs, and you get on a call with our health coaches in order for you to figure out what the lab means and what you should do about it. All right. So I'll link up the toxicity test there. But what I want to talk about, and I want to read it straight from the lab to you. I want you to know that all of this is well researched, but this is on organophosphates. A lot of you know organophosphates as the pesticides they spray on food. Well, the toxicity test looks at this. So if you're running a test, again, it can be with any practitioner, it can be with anyone in the world, that if they run this and they find organophosphates, here's what it looks at. Organophosphates are one of the most toxic groups of substances used throughout the world. They are often used as biochemical weapons and terrorist agents, but are most commonly used in pesticide formulations. Organophosphates are inhibitors of cholinesterase enzymes, leading to overstimulation of nerve cells, causing sweating, salivation, diarrhea, abnormal behavior, including aggression and depression. Children exposed to organophosphates have more than twice the risk of developing pervasive developmental disorder, PDD, and autism spectrum disorder. A study done in San Francisco Bay Area found that in California agricultural areas, children born to mothers living within 500 meters, that's it, just 500 meters of fields where organochlorine pesticides were used, were more than 6 times more likely to develop autism than children whose mothers did not live near such fields. Autism spectrum disorder risk increased with the poundage of organochlorines applied and decreased with distance from fields. Maternal organophosphate exposure has been associated with various adverse outcomes, including having shorter pregnancies and children with impaired reflexes. I mean, this is scientific research, and people are saying, and I'm not saying that toxins and chemicals are the only thing that cause autism. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things on the list. We're finding that out. Greater amounts of intestinal permeability, greater amounts of yeast, greater amounts of Clostridia-based bacteria. We know these things, but the general public doesn't. Medical doctors don't. And again, so here's the thing. Even being a natural health-based doctor, whether you become a naturopathic doctor or whatever it might be, you're not learning these directly in school. You're learning them post-doctoral-based work. That's why I'm telling people, getting your certification or degree is the start to your work in this health field. Then it's up to you to go say, let me find the best labs. let me find the best of whatever it is. Let me study that. I don't need to use everything at once, but let me start to incorporate all of these things into my practice so that I can be truly integrative, so that I can truly help people heal. Because there's no one methodology. There's no one, silver bullet that's going to help every single person get well. What we need to do is begin to look at the underlying root causes holding us back. And something like a toxicity test is just one more tool for you to use. So hopefully this was helpful today. Always appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much, as always, for sharing the show with anyone you believe it could serve. And don't forget to tune in for our weekend house calls where we answer all of our community's questions each and every weekend. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for just tuning into the show. It really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate your support. I also want to share with you an amazing offer going on right now at Equilibrium Nutrition, and that is the development of our Ultimate Deep Sleep Protocol. If you're someone that does not fall asleep in under that 10-minute mark, or you're someone that wakes up throughout the night and you don't wake up feeling rested, this might be the protocol you've been looking for. Keep in mind, I've done a previous podcast on this, but it's how to really shut down that nervous system to repair the body at its deepest level by improving neurotransmitter production, lowering cortisol levels, and increasing melatonin, which is that sleep hormone that, if regulated properly, does not make us feel groggy in the morning, but makes us feel great, getting us into that deeper level of sleep. So what we did was we took our current deep sleep protocol, which really enables you to overcome those 3 reasons of why you can't sleep, but we added in the Adrenal Soothe, one of our absolute bestsellers and really community favorites, 2 capsules at dinner, and we added in the Full Spectrum Magnesium, another community favorite, 2 capsules at dinner. What does that do? It helps knock down those cortisol levels earlier at dinner time, as well as calming the central nervous system. This allows you to stay more relaxed and get you into that relaxed, rejuvenating process earlier in the night. That's going to enable your body to heal and rejuvenate at a much deeper level. So what we've done is, with the announcement, with the debut of this new Ultimate Deep Sleep Protocol, when you purchase either the regular Deep Sleep Protocol or the Ultimate Deep Sleep Protocol, we're going to throw in a pair of our blue blocking glasses. These are tremendous. It's at least a $30 value, and it is yours with any purchase of the Ultimate Deep Sleep Protocol or the regular Deep Sleep Protocol. Thank you so much again for your support, and to check out this offer while it's still live, head on over to equilibriumnutrition.com. And as I always have to say, offer valid while supplies last. Take care, everyone.